to this episode of 10,000 Roads. My name is Don Kelly, and this episode is a long-awaited episode that I've been planning on getting to for quite some time now. As you can see behind me, this is the exterior of our RV. We built this thing up from the ground, at least rebuilt it from the ground, from basically everything on the inside, and we've done quite a bit of work on the outside too, and the roof. But we are basically going to be looking at painting now, painting the exterior of this RV. And if you own an RV and you've tried to paint one before, it's not as simple as painting your house. It's a lot more like painting a car, actually probably a little bit more like painting a boat. You don't just spray it. I mean, I guess you can, but there are a lot of techniques to this. You're painting on the fiberglass, and then you're also painting on metal in some parts. It's not as simple as just painting a room or even the exterior of your house. There's a lot more work that goes into it. So I'm not really sure what that entails yet. I am going to try my best and start working on this RV to get it looking as good on the outside as it does on the inside, hopefully. So this is going to be a big, long project. So I'm not going to document every little detail, but I'm going to try to go through it step by step so that you all can follow along if you're thinking of doing the same thing. I've seen a lot of ugly old RVs out there on the road, and if I can hopefully help somebody put a new coat of paint on their own RV, then maybe that'll be worth it. So you want to check out our older video we posted a couple weeks ago about removing these ugly decals from the side of your RV. You're definitely going to want to do that first. And then there's some other prep work you'll want to do. You want to get the roof nice and clean. I also have a video on that. And then you're just going to go through and fix any imperfections that you see. This RV has a lot of them. You're going to want to really scrub this thing down well. I have a friend who's a professional painter. He recommended the first step is to hit this thing with a pressure washer. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go over this thing with the same kind of pressure washer I would use for my driveway and truly get all of this dirt off. And not only that, but just the oxidation from the fiberglass. It's old. This is a 1998 Winnebago Itasca Sunflyer RV. And overall, all the work that I've been doing on the vinyl, check out that video. Definitely, you are definitely going to want to see our video on vinyl removal before you begin working on painting your RV. Maybe that'll help you out a little bit. It's not the hardest job in the world. It's just a lot of elbow grease, but you want to get those off and you want to get it done right. And then what we did is we sanded this whole area. So because of that, there's a lot of dust and oxidation on here that doesn't just come off with a hose. So the pressure washer should fix that. And one other important piece of prep work that we did, we found a leak in this window here. And I was going to put a video together about how to fix it, but honestly, it was as simple as applying this to the outside. I put this through the roof coating on it, and as you can see here, hopefully you can see, it dries clear. I've since painted over it with black spray paint. And that's what I'm recommending you do, is kind of hit these detailed areas. If it looks as bad as ours did, you're going to need it. So we put some brand new spray paint up here right over this coating. You can hopefully you can see down here, but it's nice and clear, and it's a really good sealant. It works on the roof of your house as well as these leaky areas of the window. So we hit this with a nice new coating of good spray paint that resists rust. I bought a new mirror. If you've seen any videos of our RV and noticed the mirror dangling from the side like a total hillbilly vehicle, went ahead and replaced that. We bought it directly from a company called Mill Supply. Bought it directly from them, and it was a pretty good process. I'll post the price below as well, but it was between $200 and $300 for one mirror, so that was pretty crazy. And then just to give you an idea of what else we've done, I taped off these windshield wipers and gave them a nice fresh coat of paint. But now we have I've worked my way around to this area, and we're prepping it for paint. I used the through the roof sealer all around here a couple days ago and let it dry, so now I'm going to paint over it. We also had another leak on this top window area, so that should take care of that leak. And now I'm just going to tape her off and give her a coat of spray paint. So let me go ahead and get to that, and we'll get to the next step. So I've gone ahead and covered up the exposed glass as well as everywhere around it so there's no overspray. And I'm just going to go ahead and use this just simple basic black spray paint to cover up these areas and just refresh them. They'll be nice and shiny. It'll look much better. If you come over here I did this area here last week, and it's not perfect. You know, it's not these aren't ideal conditions. You know, if you really want a good job, you're going to need to go inside and paint with like a real sprayer. But this is good enough. We're just trying to touch this up and make it look good. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I will just film a little bit. You'll obviously get the point, but it's fairly simple. You just want to just kind of hit it with spray paint. Be careful of overspray. You don't want to get it everywhere. But the reason why I'm painting this first is just in case there is overspray. Not the end of the world. I'll be able to touch it up if it does happen. But you just want to keep it a couple, 6 inches or so away. It's a windy day here, so it's kind of not ideal conditions to spray paint. But like I said, it's just good enough. I'm not trying to win any awards here for paint jobs. Just trying to cover up some of these ugly areas. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and I'll show you the final product when I'm done. But this is what it looks like now. Let's see what it looks like after a little bit of spray paint. And that's what she looks like after a coat of paint. So again, this isn't going to wow anybody, but this is just a brief demonstration of how to at least touch these things up. And then if you've never done this before, you don't want to wait too long before you start to peel your paint off or your tape off, because you don't want the tape to dry, because if it dries, it could potentially rip off the paint that you just put on. So give it a second, make sure you're good with everything, that you didn't miss anywhere, and then slowly peel this tape off so that you can get a nice sharp line. You also want to make sure you don't overspray for that particular reason too, because it will drip down and cause some drippy lines on your RV. You don't want that either. All right, so let's get to pulling these off. So I'm working on a little pressure washing here just to get this thing nice and clean. So it wasn't long ago that I cleaned this thing off. I've got a video, you can check it out above. But it doesn't take long for this thing to get dirty again. So I've got the pressure washer out, getting this layer of grime off so that I can get a nice clean RV to paint. So let me finish this. Recommend using a pressure washer. I didn't really use any soap, although I did put a little bit of 30-second cleaner in there. But really not, I'm just using the water and taking care of it that way. So let's finish up. And one other thing that I'm planning on doing while I paint this thing is to give this is the driver's side side mirror, and it was in pretty bad shape. I should have shown it before, but I took a wire brush to it and some sandpaper and got all of the old paint, which was flaking and pretty disgusting, off of here. And this as well, cleaned it really well, and I'm gonna just hit it with some of this, and that should at least make it look nice and new, at least enough to match the new one that I bought, because these Velvac side mirrors that are powered, they run about $350 a piece, I think. You may be able to find a better deal, but when I had to buy a replacement for the driver or the passenger side, it was around $300. So spray paint and a little bit of sanding is well worth the effort. Just make sure when you paint, you keep the electronic area out of paint range. But just give it a nice, easy coat. It's going to take several passes, no doubt, but it'll look much better when I'm done. It already looks a lot better. All right, let me put the camera down before I start getting drips. I'll show you when I'm done. And the magic of spray paint. Wow, what a difference. So I'm not done. It's gonna take, some more coats, no doubt, just to give it the protection that I need. So this is a 20-year-old mirror, so it's got scratches, as you can see, but I'm okay with that. It's gonna be good enough. But wow, this mirror looks a lot better, and that little bit of work was way worth $300. It looks brand new. So I picked the hottest day of the year to decide to put the first coat of primer on this thing, but I just wanted to show you kind of some of the stuff that I've got planned for today when I finally, for the first time, lay a nice new layer of paint on the outside of this RV. I cannot wait. So this is my project sheet for today. All the stuff that I'm using. Got on some blue gloves to keep the paint off my hands. A nice foam roller to get a nice smooth application. Some spray paint primer to get into some of these little rough spots like that there. And then some Kills primer to just kind of roll on the outside. I know typically that's not what you do to an RV. You take it in, you get it sprayed. But from talking to some people around here, we're talking about, 5 figures to do something like that. And, I just don't really care to apply that much money to this RV. So in this particular case, Kills with the roller will be good enough. So let's get this thing primed and painted. Let's go. I'm not planning on filming the whole painting process. There are millions of videos of people painting with time lapse. I'm not going to really do that right now. I'm just going to get to it, get this thing painted, and I'll show you the final product in just a second. So after a tough weekend, I was able to put some primer on this RV, and I have to admit, it looks pretty amazing. Way better than it used to look. You can't really see those ugly decals anymore, and it looks cleaner and nicer. I would just leave it as primer, but I definitely can't do that. So today I am right in the throes of painting. So again, super hot day here in Florida and a terrible day to paint, but it is what it is, trying to get the paint in before the rain comes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started painting here. I'll update you as I go on, but I just got to get to painting. So here we go. So I went to Sherwin-Williams for the paint because I have a friend who's a painter, and apparently the paint at Sherwin-Williams is way better than the Sherwin-Williams paint at Lowe's. So I talked to some of the paint experts there, and they recommended Shercryl. I think that's how you say it. But they said this would work great on an RV. It's actually made for marine coating, so it's nice and hard. They recommended a semi-gloss so that it doesn't quite, covers up some of the defects a little bit. A high gloss would, you'd see every little indentation. And but anyway, this is the one that we're going with. This one is called Anchors Away, and we are using this dark deep blue for the cladding around the bottom and around the front, and we're also going to put it up top there and then all the way around the RV. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the Anchors Away. Really happy with the blue. This was Amy's color scheme. She is my color expert, and whatever she says I do, and that's how we have a good marriage. So I'm going with her color scheme, and let's get to it. So after a few days that consisted of stomach flu, not only my own, and went through my whole family, that took a couple days out of our plans, but we are making some progress on the old RV here. We're starting with the, we're cutting in with the light blue color and doing some of the harder parts like around the door. That's a little bit harder because a lot of the raised spots and the screws, but going to do all this cutting in for now and then start doing the, the roller, and should be able to make some pretty good progress of this by the end of the day, if not by tomorrow. So let me put this down and continue the work, and I will show you the finished product in just a few. So I'm hoping today is the final day of painting this RV. As you can see, we've been able to do both levels here, the dark blue on the bottom and the lighter blue on the top. It's been a long process trying, I'm a little bit perfectionistic, which is probably what makes it last a little bit longer. But as you can see on the bottom, you can probably see it's very patchy. So really got to go through that, 2 or even 3 times to get a really good coat because it's such a deep, dark blue. But so far we're happy with it. It's a little different than the standard, RV paint job. We're going to work on, trying to put some kind of detail in there, but the swoops and the swirls and everything has just kind of been done. Every single RV looks exactly the same. So I don't know, we're trying to do something a little bit different, but been painting religiously for the last couple of days. It's still kind of earlier in the morning on a Saturday, and I'm trying to try to finish this up today. The rain is it's been a rainy couple of days, and I need the sun to come out and bake this RV to get the residual water off of it. The paint's still a little bit wet, but we're almost there. Gonna finally, I think, hopefully, fingers crossed if the rain stays away, get this paint done today. So enough talking, let me get to painting, and then hopefully the next shot that you see will be the final product. All right, the third coat is now on the bottom part, and it looks nice and dark. It's like velvet. I'm loving it. I am actually going around now and pulling some of the tape off. I'm working on the back here in this area here, and I wanted to stop and show, but this is what the side looks like without tape on it. Very happy. With the green tape, it kind of looks like the Seattle Seahawks colors. So no offense to the Seahawks or Seattle fans, but I don't really want the green on there. But let's go ahead and start peeling this off. Actually, let me show you. This is oddly fulfilling. Pull this down nice and straight, and look at that line. I'm very happy with that. It takes a while to get this tape up here, but then once you pull it off and you've got this nice tight line, it's really great. All right, enough of this. Let me get this off, and I'll put some things back on and get back to you. Yeah. Me and Peaky are here now getting ready to paint these handles. And just a quick, simple, easy way, I just put some googly eyes over it just to get that roundness. It's not perfect, and honestly I don't care, but at least it keeps paint out of the lock mechanisms. So I've got these all lined up, getting ready to hit them with some black spray paint. So let's line them up. You ready, buddy? So now you can see I've got 3 coats on the bottom. It is nice and deep. The blue turned out really great up top, and we're really happy with it. It's not the conventional RV with all the swoops and the swirls. We're going to do something maybe to work on that. Hey guys. Hello.
Can I have a pancake?
Yes, you can have a pancake.
Okay, me too.
All right. But we're happy with where this thing is. So I'm in the process now of putting all of the reflectors and the lights back on, and getting the last little bit of this tape off of the RV. You being a kangaroo, an armless kangaroo? Mm-hmm. All right. And I think we're almost done here. So let me put some of these reflectors back on, get the tape off, and then hopefully I can wrap this video. So behind me is the final product. After several weekends of painting in probably the hottest weather of the year so far, this is what we've got. So we've used some foam rollers, some really low nap brushes so that it's nice and smooth, and that's how we've applied the paint. Did some spray paint around the windows, but the whole thing has been rolled on, which is not the norm. And it was a lot of work. A sprayer would have been a lot faster, but also a lot more prep work and probably a lot messier here in my driveway. But let me just kind of show you how it looks now that it's done. Yeah, so here she is. You know, we've got a little bit of delamination that's probably never going to go away. And we don't like just the big squareness of this thing. So we're trying to figure out something to do there. We don't want the standard swoops and everything that's on an RV, but we've got some ideas. But this is how she looks. Really happy with it. I saw a meme the other day that said there's nothing more disappointing than pulling off painter's tape. And I have to agree, but overall I'm pretty happy with these lines. This paint was super dark, so it took several coats, probably 3 coats for each of these this dark layer. So it took a lot of work, a lot more paint, a lot more time than I thought it would take. But I've been able to get the reflectors and everything back on. I'm really happy with it. It's nice and shiny. I took put back the handles, just gave them a coat of spray paint, and they're like new. One more little thing, I do have to find a cover for that, but I'll get there. But we were able to finalize this thing, and I'm really happy with it. So this is the front here. Hey, buddy. You helping me on my tour here? This was probably the hardest part up here above the dashboard or the windshield. I didn't want to lean on the windshield because I was worried I would break it. And I had to lay up on my stomach on the roof and paint this. And it was super hot because of the dark blue. It just absorbed the heat. And it was really hard. The worst part was were those reflectors up there. They basically were reduced to rust underneath, so there's nothing to screw them into. I actually had to caulk them in. because they were completely rusted out. So that was not really good there. But this is what she looks like. I'm really happy with it, and don't want to ever do it again, but it turned out pretty good. So there you have it for our episode on painting the RV. If you're in the same situation as I am and you've got an old RV that needs paint, you can do it yourself, but I don't recommend it. It's a lot of work. I would try to get it taken care of by a professional, but it is very expensive, so be prepared. But you can do it yourself if you have the know-how and perseverance to climb up and down ladders to clean it, to do it and scrape bugs off and all of the fun stuff that I had to deal with. Hopefully you're in a cooler climate as well. Definitely don't do it in June and May in the summertime in Florida. Definitely don't do that. So thank you for watching 10,000 Roads. We've got a lot of other great videos on RV repair and DIY stuff. We've taken this RV and rebuilt it from the ground up, pretty much everything but the engine. And we are finally at the point where we can take this thing out. So we took it out a couple months ago. We were the ugliest RV at Disney World, and we didn't like that. So this paint will definitely help that. But now we've got everything in working order for the most part, and we are going to head out soon. So like this video, follow our channel, and you will see us as we travel. I'm not even really sure where we're going yet. We're setting out in 2 days, and we're just gonna go. Figure it out, we'll have fun, and we'll get out on the road finally. It's been several years of putting this thing together, and I'm happy to say that I think this is going to be the last video on RV repair and building, because I'm done doing all this stuff. So I'm ready to enjoy it and use this thing before my kids grow up and move out. So I'm excited to hit the road. So thank you for watching. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions, please comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But in the meantime, please subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.